basically, when you talk about the staffing function, maybe I would want to get your views on what do you think or how do you understand by the term staffing before we even look at the kind of definitions we have given here. How do you understand by that term? Yes, Faith, how do you understand by the term staffing?
I think it's the process where employees are able to hire employees based on their qualifications and the roles that to do in the organization of the company.
Yes, that is correct, because now it simply involves the hiring, isn't it? Yeah, because now the organization needs to find the right people for the job. So it entails that. So when you talk about the staffing, the staffing is actually the process of hiring eligible candidates in the organization or company for specific positions. So that is what you call staffing, the process of hiring eligible candidates in the organization or the company for specific positions. In management, the meaning of staffing is an operation of recruiting the employees by evaluating their skills, knowledge, then offering them specific job roles accordingly. So it entails recruiting of employees based on their what? Their skills, based on their knowledge, and then the organization will have to go ahead and do what? Offer them the job accordingly. Staffing can be defined as one of the most important functions of management. Yes, it is one of the important functions of the management, because this is where we acquire the right human skills or the right people for the specific what? For the specific job. It also involves the process of filling the vacant position of the right personnel at the right job and what? The right time. So it also involves what? Filling the vacant position of the right personnel at the right job and the right what? Time. So when you look at staffing generally, it entails recruitment, isn't it? First of all, we have to identify the job requirements, isn't it? The kind of the people that you want to work with as an organization. Then we recruit, isn't it? We recruit. After recruiting, of course, you are going to recruit a pool of qualified employees or candidates. Then you will select among them the best, isn't it? It can be one, it can be two or more. So after selection, it is now when you are going to have them in the job, isn't it? You are going to have them in the job. Later on, if they require some training, you need to train them. You need to induct them, isn't it? Yes, you have to induct them. Then after inducting them, you have to give them the instruction of what basically they are supposed to do. So it entails a lot, and we are looking at it in terms of getting the right what people for the right job and at the right time. So that's what we call a staffing as a function of what? Management. Now, let's look at the nature of the staffing function. And this one we could still call it the characteristics of what? The staffing function. So the nature of the staffing function is such in a manner that it will focus on the following features. It focuses on the following features. Number one is staffing is an important managerial function. Staffing is an important managerial function. With this one, it means that it is the most important managerial act along with the planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. So apart from the other functions of management like planning, like organizing, directing, and controlling, staffing is one of them. It is a very essential, a very important function in management. So that's one of the nature of what? Staffing. Now, again, we look at staffing as a pervasive activity. We look at it as a pervasive activity. And what do we mean by this? So, as a staffing function is carried out by all managers and all types of concerns where the activities are carried out. So, this tells us more about how pervasive it is, because we are looking at it in terms of how this function is carried out by all the managers, all the types of concerns where the business is done what is carried out. So it is carried out by all managers, all concerns, all the people, all the stakeholders within what the organization. So it is a pervasive activity. The other nature of staffing is it is a continuous activity. Continuous means it is an ongoing. It is an ongoing activity. And this is because the staffing function continues throughout the life of an organization due to the transfers and promotions which take place. So take in mind that, of course, this is what completes the staffing process, transfers and promotions. Then after there, it continues. The cycles repeat itself. It repeats itself. So that is it. We're also saying that the basis of staffing function is efficient management of personnel. It is an efficient management of personnel. Human resources can be efficiently managed by a system or proper procedure. That is recruitment, selection, placement, training and development, providing remuneration, and also to do with which is part of compensation and benefits, among others. So it is an efficient management of personnel. So when you are doing staffing in management, you are efficiently managing personnel. And this role is normally done by the HR office, human resource. The other nature of staffing is that staffing helps in placing the right men at the right job, also at the right time, isn't it? Yeah. So it can be done effectively through proper recruitment procedures and then finally selecting the most suitable candidates as per the requirements. So as per the requirements, we'll be able to select the most suitable candidate, that is during the selection process, isn't it? So that we can place the right person, the right man at the right job. Finally, we are saying that staffing is performed by all managers, depending upon the nature of business, the size of the company, the qualifications and skills of managers, and etc. So it is performed by all managers. So those are some of the nature of staffing. Allow me now to go ahead and look at the components of the staffing function. So this is what the staffing comprises of. The first component, this could also be elements of the staffing function. So the first component is what you call job analysis. So we call it job analysis. And this is because it entails trying to figure out the needs, that is in terms of the employees that we might require as an organization. If you are an organization, then you'll figure out the number of employees that are required, look at their skills, isn't it? And all other requirements. So we try to analyze job we try to analyze job. We require this kind of a candidate or this kind of employee. Therefore, we will have to analyze, look at the requirement. What is the qualification, that we require for this job? So we're just analyzing. What job. Then after analyzing, then we can have the human resource planning, where now they are going to plan whether they have maybe sufficient resources to facilitate the employee, isn't it? Yeah, to facilitate the recruitment of the employee. So in that case, after the human resource have done their planning, human resource needs to plan very well so that they are able now to get um, the right people. They are not just there to get just people to work for the organization. No, they have to ensure that they have gotten the right people, the people who have the required skills, the people who have the required knowledge, the people who are meeting qualifications. They look at the degrees, the masters, whether this person has PhD, whether we require such kind of a person. So that's what the human resource does. So from there, now we move on to the recruitment and selection, because it is one of the component of the staffing function. So you can have recruitment and selection is done. So we are going to recruit a pool of employees. From that pool of employees, we can now select the right people, isn't it? Yeah. Then we will have what you call training and development. Training and development will involve equipping them with some of the skills that they may require for the job. Yes, you have to train them, you have to develop them. So it is one of the functions which staffing requires, training and development, so that the employees are doing what is expected of them. You might have recruited, you might have selected, but now without the training them, without inducting the employees with the organization, values, culture, that might be very difficult for the employees to cope with the organization. So it is very essential. Then the other component is performance appraisal. So here, this will involve evaluating the performance of the employees, evaluating their performance. So it can be done in very many ways, so that to ensure that the employees are doing well. If they're improving, if they're doing a bit better, then what follows, we can promote them, isn't it? They can be promoted. That's the purpose of performance appraisal. That's the purpose of performance appraisal. So just evaluation of the employees, what a role. Then we also have compensation and benefits as one of the component of the staffing function. Now, with the compensation and the benefits, this will entail rewarding employees based on their performance, rewarding them based on their performance. The rewards could be in terms of salaries, salaries and other remuneration. So that's what you call compensation and benefits. Yes, we are simply rewarding them for what they have done. Then the other component of the staffing function is what we call health and safety. Health and safety, it is also very essential, because now as an organization, you need to ensure that you abide by the laws, the health and safety laws, ensuring that the employees are not harmed while at the work. So you'll have to give them instruction of what is required, so that we do not have injuries, so that the employees are safe working at the organization. So that's what we call health and safety as one of the component of the staffing function. Then finally, we have employee relation. This is how the organization's management, are going to relate with the employees, how they relate with the employees. And there are many also ways of relating with employees. which is very, very essential for the working of the organization. So these are the components of the staffing function. Those are the components of the staffing function. I don't know whether you have a question on that, because I want us to move on and look at the importance of staffing. Any question on that?
No.
So if there is no question, and then we can proceed and look at the importance of staffing, why it is important. We are looking at the reasons, the benefits of staffing, And one of the benefit of staffing is what you call efficient performance of other functions. Of course, we have other functions. We have planning, organizing, controlling. So with the staffing, it will lead to efficient performance of other functions, because now planning cannot be done if we do not have the right people. Organizing, harmonizing the people cannot be done without having the right people. Control can also not be done without having the right people for the job. So staffing is very key, is very essential. So because it will lead to efficient performance of other functions, we are also looking at other functions. So that's one of the important of what is staffing. Number two, there is what we call effective use of technology and other resources. Again, if you recruit the right people for the job, they are going to use technology and other resources effectively. They're going to use it well. So because you've gotten the right people, you've gotten the people who have the knowledge, who have the expertise to do the job. Therefore, they are going to use technology and also the organization's resources, other organizations' resources effectively. So again, that is one of the function of the importance of having staffing, or the benefit of having staffing. Number three, there is what you call optimum utilization of human resources. Again, the human resources are going to be utilized optimally, isn't it? Yes, that is to their best. They are going to be utilized well. They are not going to be wasted. That is how we look at it. So we look at the wage bill of big concerns, which is quite high. Also, a huge amount is spent on recruitment, selection, training, and development of employees. So we look at it in terms of this the way the organization is going to spend. So a very huge bill is spent on recruitment, selection, training, and also the development of what employees. And to get the optimum output, the staffing function should be performed in an efficient manner. So there is what you call optimum utilization of human resources. We also have development of human capital. Again, with the staffing, it is also going to lead to development of human capital. And when you look at this, since the management is required to determine in advance the manpower requirements, therefore it has also to train and develop the existing personnel for career advancement. And this will meet the requirements of the company in the future. So there is development of human capital. We are developing human capital. Yes, so that is it. The other benefit or the other importance of staffing is building high morale. It also builds by high morale, I believe, both for the employers and the employees, but most likely the employees are going to have high morale for the job. They will have high morale for the job, for working. So maybe we can look at it. The right type of climate should be created for the workers to contribute to the achievement of the organizational objectives. So that is what entails building high morale, because we are building the morale of the workers, the morale of the employees. And in that case, we need to have a very conducive climate, a very conducive environment which will contribute to the achievement of organizational objectives or goals. So those are the benefits of what? Staffing, or the importance of staffing. So you will go through them. They are very clear for understanding. I also want us now to proceed and look at the staffing process, and these are steps involved in staffing. We've already looked at them when we were looking at the components of staffing, because those are the same things that are conducted in the staffing process. So let's look at these steps. The first one is manpower requirements. And as we can see, this is the very first step in staffing, which is to plan the manpower inventory required by a concern in order to match them with the right job requirements and also what demands. And it also involves forecasting and determining the future manpower needs of the concern or the organization. So manpower requirements is one of the first step. It is the first step in the staffing process. You have to get the manpower requirements, get to know what are the requirements for these people. Yeah. Then from there, you now move ahead and look at the recruitment, because after the manpower requirements, we go straight to the recruitment. So once the requirements are notified, the concern invites and solicits applications according to the invitations made to the desirable candidates. So after the requirements have been determined, after they have been notified, then we can now do the recruitment, because many people have been notified that this organization requires manpower. It requires this specialization. It requires this person. These are the requirements. So they will be able to do what? To apply. They are going to apply for the job. Then from there, we move ahead and look at the selection. Immediately after the recruitment, the selection has to be conducted. And this is the screening step of staffing, in which the solicited applications are screened out and suitable candidates are appointed as per the requirements. So after the recruitment process, then we are now going to select, we are going to pick the right candidates, suitable candidates, who are now going to be appointed as per the requirements. They have to meet all the requirements. Then from now selection, we move on and look at the orientation and placement. So that is the next step, orientation and placement. So once the screening, which is the selection, takes place, the appointed candidates are made familiar to the work units and work environment through the orientation programs. Placement takes place by putting the right man on the right job. So orientation is very, very critical. It's very important, because once you've selected the right people, now they are in your organization. Now they are at the workplace. You have to show them around. You have to do what? To show them around, so that they are able to perform their task well. Then from there, we can have training and development. And with this one, you said you have to train them so that they know what exactly they are supposed to be doing. Then from there, we have remuneration. Remuneration is where you're going to compensate them. You're going to reward them for their performance. Then from remuneration, we move ahead and look at the performance evaluation. Here, it is what we call the performance appraisal. You have to evaluate them to get to know if they are doing well. Then if that happens, then they can be promoted, isn't it? Or they can be transferred. So these are the steps in the staffing process. Those are the steps. I want now to look at the functions of staffing, but I will not take much time on it, because you can easily read on these functions. One is to obtain qualified personnel for different jobs position in the organization. Number two, by recruiting the right person for the right jobs, it leads to maximum productivity and higher performance. That is also another function of staffing. Staffing also helps in promoting the optimum utilization of human resources through various aspects. Again, job satisfaction and morale of workers increases through the recruitment of the person. That is the right person. So that is also another function of staffing. It also helps to ensure better utilization of human resources, as you already seen. Then it ensures the continuity and growth of the organization. So those are the functions of staffing. You can easily read through them. But if you understood the importance of staffing, then you can as well apply them when we are looking at the functions of staffing. Now, I want to look at the principles of staffing, the principles of staffing. One of the principles is the principle of staffing objective. This principle focuses on the objective of the organization. It focuses on the objective of the organization while we are recruiting the employees or the workers. The second principle is the principle of staffing responsibility, where the staffs are supposed to be responsible of what they have been assigned to do. So that's the principle of staffing responsibility. The other principle is the principle of human resource planning, where the human resources are supposed to plan accordingly so that they can ensure that we have the right people for the right job, isn't it? They are going to plan to ensure that the resources are sufficient for getting the right people. So the principle of human resource planning. There is also the principle of recruiting personnel. This one is very clear. We also have the principle of training objective, where the employees are trained on the job. We also have the principle of management appraisal. Employees are going to be evaluated, isn't it? Yes. So these are the principles of staffing. I can see that this session is going to end in the next few minutes because now I had just scheduled it for a few minutes. So maybe what I will do, maybe I will take you through the factors which affect the staffing function. Then we will pick from the recruitment this section of recruitment. We can complete it in our next session as we begin our new chapter. So factors that affect the staffing function, we have the external factors and we also have the internal factors. External factors, these are factors that come from outside. Internal factors, they come from within the organization. And some of the external factors, one is political factors. We look at the political stability. It really affects the staffing function. We also have economic factors, and economic factors are very, they really affect the staffing, a function. So economic factors, we look at things that are going to affect the organization. Could it be in terms of the income? Could it be in terms of the wealth, the economic factors? So they affect the staffing function. We also have the social factors which affect the staffing function. Social factors, this could be things like the values of the organization, the roles, the structure, the religious, the culture, all those are the social factors which affect the staffing function. There is also the legal factors. This has to do with the laws and regulations. They also affect the staffing function. And finally, we have the customers. If we have a sufficient customers, then you can recruit more. But if customers are less, we don't need to recruit more of the staff. So these are some of the external factors. Now we have the internal factors. These are just within the organization. We have the size of the organization. If the size of the organization is small, then we tend to recruit less. But if the size of the organization is big or large, we can recruit more. There is also the organization image. How is the organization seen from the outside or from within? And specifically, this is just within. So if the organization has a good image, then we can have more of the people, because now people will be talking about this organization. Don't go there or go there. That place is so nice. You can work from that place. So that image is what affect the staffing function. Then you have technological factors. This has to do with the technology, whether we have whether the people you are recruiting are conversant with the use of technology, then it is one of the factors which affect the staffing function. There is also the change in employee roles. Yes, if I thought that the roles of employees are going to be changing, then it also affect the staffing function, because now remember there are promotions, there are transfers. That is what lead to change in the staffing function. Then finally there is education. Education, will look at it in terms of qualifications, in terms of the skills, in terms of the knowledge. So it also affects what? The staffing function. So that is it to do with the factors that affect the staffing function. This section we can do it in our next class, but it's the last part, recruitment. I think we can do it in our next session, because now this session is already ending, and I don't want to schedule another meeting at the moment. So I think we will stop at that point. Any question? Any question?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes, you can ask, please.
The notes that you sent, Mika sent me, but I can see that they're not complete. Can you kindly send us the
Updated one.
updated version?
Okay,
Yeah.
I will send them.
Thank you.
I will send them. In fact, maybe I can send them right away after the class. It's
Thank
okay.
you.
So I think we can stop at this point, and we meet in our next session. Have a good day.
It is, sir.